Denzel?
Good morning.
Pendant dewa malu chungwene, chere siwa tenzin gyatsoyi, shabe site parto tenkyuchi. Taring pögyalo nidong gyada ngapchu ngani, chilo nidong nishu tsenga lu tawo chukchi be tse chubdun yinte, jikden shide tebun, saten geden yongzo gi ngada, pimi yongki gyöngyab, lana mebe uti, langtor lamdun pa, pimi ngo ta te chikdil ki tsunda, pimi yongki rawan denbe dinsa pa, 진호로 콘스캠교 개왕 꾸팅 줍시바 첨부초기 벽계급 첨부 계시 최시 롱이기 토개 용수 시에대 멜로 든주 대응하 고베 뒤등기 슝제 제고 운주슈기.
Good morning. With deepest reverence and heartfelt gratitude to His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama for his boundless compassion, kindness, and visionary leadership, we are gathered here today on November 17, 2025, in the courtyard of Thekchen Choling Tsukla Khang to celebrate the 75th anniversary of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama's assumption of temporal and spiritual leadership of the great nation of Tibet.
제고 운주슈기 도말 생계 구시엔토 벤데 시경초네 벽계급 첨부 계다르 카인수 된급 벽이 되어갈 초반에 나를 단치 벽계급 첨부 결루타 갸가르 결루 비교.
The celebration will begin with hoisting of Tibetan national flag by Honorable Sikyong Pembatsering. Members of Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts will lead the rendition of Tibetan national anthem and Indian national anthem.
Pende timshiba chewa cho ta pende phemi ma chi du cho cho pende sigyong cho che ne mente tensum degbu shugyu ta kapter tente soja desi degbu shugyu.
Honorable Chief Justice Commissioner, Honorable Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, and the Honorable Sikyong of the Central Tibetan Administration will offer Mendel Tensum, a symbolic, auspicious offering representing the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha.
Teta chabji yu pyolop zingyong chobe kyabkong tenlop ka duyingi lopsur tang pyotukim de masuri pyokim gyagar tang payu ki nilop che lopsur tumong ki kadin jeten sengto chokchong ki chokcho jisur tashi namge la ne mente tensum degbu shugyu tang genkurwa ka je ne jega shugyu.
Tashin Namgyal, President of the Gratitude Event Organizing Committee and a former member of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, will lead the offering of Mendel Tensum on behalf of the alumni of Tibetan schools in India and Nepal.
Tuchina DJ la pende sigyong cho ne Kashak ki sungshe nangyu.
I request Honorable Sikyong to deliver the Kashak statement.
다른 진흥 콘스탄군 전부처기 그 간진 예시 출시기 쟁게 셴로 뒤동아 코에 제고디 토마 롭수 소배 원에 포란이야 년생 휴체 진흥 콘스탄군 전부처 제고려야 샵술 권한주 셰셰 여배 토네 아니 범위직 중원에 예시 출시기 님이 달로 고등당 아니 로컬모 잠재로 송지 쉬야단 답든체 아니 진호 콘스장고 좀 쳐 계시 출시기 정gen시의 투주인 디 고디슈고야 로주기 내부부 터네 개침부직 대체 아니 고디슈버치 독신이 인신 연생 슈버다 다니 진호 콘스장고 좀 쳐네 랍중 주주베 짝다 다와 주베 체계 실치동급 영업시 탐바 다와 죽시베 체 줍디니 별 계급 챔ber 계시 출시기 통계 경시 제대 롱어 든주 동아 코르베 두젠 제고들 가샤키 시제 범위 용기 섭슈대 잠린 시대 대변당 사된 계된 용조 경하다 범위 용기 라는 마치베 권격 계쇼 군대 출시부 전부 초라 류기 투싱 서 팝대 고숨 구지 삼지 트스트레 장매 쉬어단 첩직 댄드 된도 구즈샵에 깨결 땜베 손대 주신요 대야 그 간진지 존들 더지 토마 녀리 전부 실롱응기 니게 줍든러 페바네 림기 강종 사토르 지규르기 시원 주대 최계 매연 남섬기 값수 나탕 쳔머스인데 숨니 사이 긴고를 나완 제징 야가르기 굽대 이글 뺄라네 뷰이 살소당 뺄 날렌데 주규 팀마메바 뷰유도 장데 빼윤규나 캬베 제카르 야나기 게사 창에도 마장데 게이 고마 침법 칠레 파바 용요라 드럽 구베낭 벼시부터 때 나타 양샤 중요 중낭 나콩 셴라 쇼리 메바 빼나 실로니동 죽로 박티아르 킬지 야가르 상샤네 별로 마장버 베미소 막내 도대 숨겹 천된 제토버 중요라 종근 최계 파바네 간된 포장팔 벽이 야나 왕규르 체계 소보다 맹 만주월 최기 대와促신 벽이 첩시 우티당 라신 남베 야나기 왕진 고마림 준다 토림 우티 나방 제버 최기 콜로 야실 κορ싱 남베 랍제 야나기 왕진 버솔 상베 슈게 하장 첨부 퇴유 드럽 니슈베 고도도 카지막시제 마부방기 암도 쇼다 만슈 마군 저월 방기 감초 인지 유초수 전주체대 표징아탕 다신기 내술홍 직동국의 축지로 야나 고민당의 시원 송제 도때메기 사대망보 림세 제바마세 그 슝당 산삼기 차고 동토 대망 종유 실치동국의 슈셰굴로 야나 공전기 시원 축제 도때메기 사대망보 전순 제베 더 다듬 실치동국의 납주 나와주 주베나 람카 카 숨네 참도로 전주기 벽이 조슈 막봉 밤년 쇼때 별로 자꾸 고송기 누버매바 요진 계지 지선에 섬구르 체계 매바 소기 벽이 느주 니가 응원의 창직이 손삼수 계엽의 갑대를 공로 중앙래 수행매배 진호 권스장군 전부 초기 톡톡 거저 셈버 거대 야숑라 메세 메토기 세네 모두 샤베 저든 된제 줍든기 망시 땡 로겔하링 차범 강젠바남 라르 봉소기 고정원에 최소 겹답당 벽이 투민 최당 리숑 제경 용외 탑시 루구 윤도 때나 연아 야숑기 저든 지메 도그르 동양 제벌 때 전주도 미벽감의 중 야가르 파베 유도 전주를 페마타도 저든 된제 줍든 지메기 세라나와탄 접직 야장암의 로럽 딘주네 숭 오메남기 중원에 벽에 간요세웨 시주 땜베 낭데 벼민직수네 균총 슈심바당 공부초기 다버린 인생 뒤주도 제구르 넘시 쳔베 전주 선바쳔베 남타르 다기 셰신베 까지니 두테파르도 쉘깔라 제게르 뚜강 저기 메랑 다들 신호 건설장군 정부처 꾸이 고등당 세링아수 슈네 롱어 저장하당 롱이 첩시기 쟁겐시네 롱어 동아 코르바체 두둔 숨좀 기갑디당 뛰네 공부처 댄도된도 꾸지 샤베 깨결된지 제팅 시대파르도 경제 용어 면도인체 가샤키 Before I read Kashak's statement on this occasion of commemorating the 75th anniversary of His Holiness assuming the political and spiritual leadership of Tibet way back in 1950, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to Ms. Alestia Zikova, who is the Ambassador of Czech Republic in Delhi. Thank you very much for being the chief guest today. And we also have many Indian friends, including the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. Chaudhary, and all the security personnel who have worked in the private office over the last so many years. And we have also the liaison officers who have served in the private office with His Holiness for many years. Many of them are here. Please extend a very warm welcome to all of them. As we keep saying, if it is not for the government and people of India, we do not exist. So today it is an occasion for us, on behalf of His Holiness, the Tibetans inside and Tibetans outside, to express our gratitude to our host nation, the government of India, both at the central level, irrespective of whatever political party you come from. Consecutive governments of the government of India and the state governments have extended all the help and support for the Tibetan community here, which makes us one of the very unique Tibetan democratic polity that exists in exile. So thank you very much for coming here and gracing this occasion. On this auspicious occasion marking the 75th year of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama's assumption of spiritual and temporal leadership over the great nation of Tibet on 17th November 1950, corresponding to the 8th day of the 10th month of the Iron Tiger year of the 16th Rabjung. The Kashak, on behalf of the Tibetans in and outside Tibet, offers its heartfelt gratitude to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, the Apostle of World Peace, the Supreme Patriarch of the Buddhist world, the protector and refuge of the Tibetan people, and the embodiment of Avalokiteshvara. We offer our boundless prayers for His Holiness to live for eons for the benefit of all sentient beings. A unified political empire of Tibet in the land of snow was gradually formed, beginning with its first Tibetan emperor, Nyarisembo, in 2017 BC. During the reign of the three Dharma kings, the rule of the Tibetan Empire reached its zenith, extending over vast regions of Asia. In that period, the Tibetan script was newly created based on the Indian Gupta script, and the pure Buddhist teachings of the great Nalanda tradition were brought into Tibet and spread throughout the land. The military might of the Tibetan Empire saw the invasion of the Chinese capital of Chang'an, present-day Xi'an, and the overthrow of the then Tang Emperor. Although the Tibetan Empire disintegrated in the 9th century and its power declined, Tibet's territorial integrity remained intact. For instance, the Tibetan people mounted an effective defense when Bakhtiar Khilji launched a campaign to invade Tibet from northeastern India in 1206. From the time of the Drogon Choge Phakpa to the Ganden Photang, a priest-patron relationship was established with the Mongol, the Ming, and the Manchu rulers who ruled over China. The Tibetan spiritual and temporal leaders and high lamas of Tibet turned the wheel of Dharma for successive rulers of China. high-ranking officials and subjects, positively influencing them through the Buddha's teachings. In the early 20th century, Tibet fell into weakened state when the Muslim warlord Ma Bufang invaded Amdo, the Manchu general Tawerfang invaded Kham, and the British invaded central Tibet. After the Chinese Nationalist Party, Kuomintang, seized power in 1911, they progressively annexed numerous regions in Amdo and Kham and engaged in repeated armed border confrontations with the Tibetan government. In 1949, after the establishment of the Communist Government of the People's Republic of China, many areas of the Amdo and Kham regions were forcibly occupied. In October 1950, the People's Liberation Army captured Chamdo through a three-pronged attack, defeating the Tibetan army and rendering Tibet incapable of mounting an armed defense. With the indifference of the international community and both the people and the land of Tibet at the brink of destruction, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, at just 15 years of age, assumed spiritual and temporal leadership of Tibet. With unparalleled courage, His Holiness the Dalai Lama worked tirelessly for over 8 years to negotiate with the People's Republic of China within the framework of the coerced 17-point agreement, striving to protect Tibetan lives from the armed threat of the People's Liberation Army and to preserve Tibet's unique religious and cultural heritage. However, with the complete disregard and continued violation of the said agreement by the PRC's government, His Holiness was compelled to go into exile. Upon arrival in exile in the Holy Land of India, His Holiness formally repudiated the so-called 17-point agreement signed under duress, declaring it null and void. Since the 1970s, His Holiness proposed the middle way policy to resolve the Sino-Tibet conflict, which the Central Tibetan administration continues to pursue. The sublime life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the great Bodhisattva, exemplified through his tireless efforts in fulfilling the four principal commitments and his immeasurable kindness transcend all expression. Finally, on this auspicious convergence of the 85th anniversary of His Holiness' enthronement, the 75th year of His Holiness' assumption of spiritual and temporal leadership of Tibet, and the celebration marking His Holiness' 90th birthday, we offer our heartfelt prayers for the long life of His Holiness the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet and the continuation of his enlightened activities for eons to come.
공투지나 디젤라 벤데 페미마 지디 초조초네 페미마 지딜 현조기 송시난규
I request Honorable Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile to deliver the statement of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile.
Dison Sonja Genji Sharshin, Chodingu Genjin Jone, Lado Jebin Roa Yongjin Gensho, Sunda Manjiba, Shenoro Consa Shongan, Jao Tonjin Chenjiziva Chimbi Shabla, Gosum Kisha Doje, Terin Jagi Kunden Zo, Jie Jacobji, Yonsop Chemo, Chomko, Dr. Eleska Zegova Chodan, Nei Jagara Yongi, De Leje number, Pemi Jinzuch, Zezo Lezer number, Zejo Pemi Lobda Kage, Lobzer number, Yen Kunde number Don, Monzo Jela, Pemi Moshindi Lenzogi, Tsopshine, Somji Tashi de Les Shuai. Harji Siki Zojen, Jakin Niji Ronzo, Pejil Hakal Sherez on Me Zus Shamba, Consum Chiji Jabo, Jide Hide Tebe, Pemi Yonjelana maybe Uti Shino Consa Shongan Jayombo, Kunchen Chugiva Chembon Choki, Pe Jacob Luzon Chusi Jin Zekuru Weso Dagri Yete, Terim Melo Shebo, Denjo Tengan Kurvi, Logiji Shunrob no, Deni dembe kazongi nemo hin. Deyon jeketo. Kondun deja yabala. Papa namne troginju jeson batara. Dejan deje jintene jime chejin. Tribi namro tume. Pembon jesun zinje. Peje thoma nyadi zembone zon. Chejar mewe namson tang. Tribi lobe namba. Jawon konten region tang. Dacha namjin gwensho kadin dameba. Jancho Chugiba Chambo Koni, Ben Dome Zonki Yuji Tatsira Tonzoro, Yop Cheshon Teretan, Yom Sanam Somo Nichi Seso, Some Yindo Shawara Zonki, Deje Yonzi Nambi Tune, Chesho Jehoba Honir Senyetan, Shordun Zomni Chopsi Nebotan, Senri Lao Tononzet, Dukop Terin Chinsen Jacob Janatu, Tizi Shonde, Shilo Tidon Guja Yeju Hegolo, Jana Mahio Content Tangi, Jana Kamsa Chimi Seon Zonhi, Lotte Shinda Chubi Tini, Jana Mimo Shindin Jacob Sandu Shebi, Yonchop Sadapel. Shilo Tidon Guja Yeju Hego, Dawa Chuji Bitene Tasun Yin, Mount Zetongi, Pella Tenzi Shaji, Mada Yonsu Dide, Punjukin got Samhi, Pe Chamdo, Jana Tindo Maseri Lato Shorne, 참도로 옆에 배경기 히다 벤리 용조 자이 정원도 치 디드르 자나 마효 세경동 배체된 자콥 니치 메자동 더휴 공텐네 해바 첨보 옆에 너여 내동라 송 배지 시접 내보네 하종 간에 첨보 신노 쇼 옛네 배진 토리 미니 효과 워제 노키 온진 투제 정간다 쇼히 배지 첩시 내동 체냐 타와동 첸자다기 뒤수 조급 뱀본 하된 메데요네 So Pusuzun Deni, Pelutana, Godon Chudule Semebi, Consan Choki, Shilotiton Gujangato, Dawa Chuji, Kudini, Peji Jasi Chisi, Tungangazo Yege Shonhi, Rimbe Leje Legonton, Chehi Legon Sanzuchi, Peji Chosi Satendan, Pembo Deshi Yontoji Gonyen Zet, Shilotiton Gujangato Nagiloro, Consancho, Jana Yungi Dengitar, Pejin Sosu, Chibjur Sonde, Janagin Goti Mao Zedong so Peri Khan Yanteze. Tejeshilo Tido Gujangaju Nadulor, Jagari to Dengitar, Temba Hajat Tuba Nyangelen, then a Lonidon Ajankori Tidenche, Nechen Kala Pekin, Dilir, Jagarji Silen Pendit Joala Neruso, Peri Kalan Yante Note, Pej Chopsi Nedon Korkamo Nohi, Jagarji Mozi Lomlu Sola Lechazi, Teje Peto Shipage Lot Timar. Jana Yunla Tinke Nyamne Totop Njejang, Tendre Masemba Maze, Shilo Chitong Gujangatu Ngatilor, Pemitzen Hiji Yabi, Tenze Judin Serva, Teyon, Jayon Ronki Time Dorotong. Shilo Chitong Gujangatu Ngajelor, Konsan Choki, Dansa Sumdo, Trakur Tomjo Nomatang, Shilo Chitong Gujangatu Ngagolor, Hadendo Gendimba Tindaku Isu, Gehe Harombe Tonjon Zete, Kipi Chuncho Mobe Nyambar Tejin, Nyembi Trape Chopashung. Tikopter Consachon, Gender Hindu Cheyon, Jai Magartu Zimo, Dende Une Hibatar, Shinda Sumbi Tuni Peten Keyon, Jayone Consan Chol Len, Kusun Ni Sumle Chimichojin, Conseil Chermicho Baso, Tendo Kosha Dora, Hasan Negu Choso Pemeyone, Made Samba Tintinje, Teni Javi Yune Podon, Noble Ninkaran, Takorne, Kosha Sunshop Tang, Jayongi Sheshola Ngogor Shebi, Nemo Terre, Pemiron, Gelonji Nemo Hido Choro. Teji Shisi Juduni, Jama Ki, Norbulingi Poto Shosu, Mejo, Jango Tutop, Shilochidongo Jangatu Nagun, Daosumbi Judin Ninjan Semoro, Consacho Concorton, Kasha Jie, Rehi Page, Jasal Hazane, Jagarto, Senjola Pegation. Senjo to Hyoson Keje, Shenda Yibi Tjabjin, Tizi Poto, Jashi Sangaban Namla, Peronten Tomi Jacobla, Jamarne Tenzi Shebatan, Tentin Tenze Judin Serva, Kilian Nonjo Membaso, Yonda Nam. Tene Masuri, Yogaran Zeji, Tenjo Pegundon, Hengon Gahi Sanzuno, Teji Yune Darum Salar, Nepe Nanhi, Rimbe Chegar, Yigar, Lobda, Tegi Hand or Region, Lahi Soji, Tine Sanzushan. Konsan Choki, Rimo Hine, Gomba Yeba Tar, Tomar Shilotidon Guja Tuju Loro, Chulu Chosum the Jibi, Timi Monsoji, Wenden Shibi, Pemi Moshindi Lenzo, Sanzu Shonhi, Rimbe, Pe Yun Teni, Tenro Mozin Rolu Hito Jononze, Jana Yungi Pej Chedon Region Kei Miri, Koyu to Jeba Tame Zoji Siji Nyamzu Natsu Jigone Latar Shegin Yechang, Zenjo no Zo Gongsan Chokin Chenze Nibi Lana Mebi Tushin Zenchin La Tene, Pej Chedon Region Kei So Sunsho Harso Nanghi, Tabar Pej Chedon Region, Tsenri to Nochewar Dolen, Romi Tijurjin Duhe, Tenyo Shamze Comberji Seno Hede Don Yeche Yongeba Sojin Lamden Zene, Nzamle no Memo Saya Mobro Pento Shunhi, Noche la Teme Yanke Namla Tombi Chijin Kolo Jim Michepa Korwatang. Nzamle Konsara Pat Dijin Koli Onchen Yon Ten Sunjo Sojin Nowa So, Chesi Jin Zechin Lapchen Shono Ye. Tegi Konsa Choki Kawa Janda Lurgin Zete, Peden Denta Satop Sola, Ne Jagara Yondo, Jashin on Jalam Noe, Shilochiton Guja Ngachung Naguton, Shilochiton Guja Tujurichi, Chiton Guja Tujur Rengalo, Sosor, Nyamde Jasono, Peden Korji Tichi, Yat Tobatan, Teji Shilochiton Guja Tujur Redinlor, Tomar, Neon Jacob to Chijur Shomba Ne, Rimbe Europe, Lojon America, Africa Che, Zamli Jacob Pamotino, Chijur Temo Shonte, Jacob Sosi Utiso Perikalan Jante Nanki, Ari Trezo Sone, Pedento T. Haji Yatoba Shonatan, taking Europe Trezotan, Jacob Mobi Yondo Trezo Sone, Pedento Trejen Haji Mobo Yat Tupjin, Haberto, Jana Yondon Delwa Shason Note, Konsan Choki, Jayun Nyam, Nipenji Gomba Yehi, Senjur Pemi Kutso, Beno Zikro Haji Petoba Shonatan, Yiji Niji Pemi Nam. Pasurun Ron Toba Shonki, taking Shelo Nidon Nine, Peja Ni Waran, Demo Take Gotum Noyon, Jana Yungi Perici, Topa Namtoki, Peji Canyon Servi, Zonsho Zum Deshe Shonto Met, Teri Jendeba Hila, Konsan Cho, Kun Soyuri, Peji Canyon Set up Geba, Jayungi Perin Namla, Kulma Shajoin. Konsan Choki, Peji Dembin Topsi, Semi Hivilana Tembatan, Zamle Yudo concert Shamji Lamden Nahi, Hidin Netting Zeba Sola 10, Meden Sumbe Shamji Dani Dang. Zamle Hidi Tebenjin Senye Yonda Su Toba Shonki, Shilo Titon Goja Jaju Chagolor, Zamle to Chin Yenda Chebi, Nobi Hidin Zenta So, Chen Zenta to Chete Tontala Nyawan Begin Zay Yejin, Gambo Konyichi Tushe Tamja Yin Zebaran, Zamle Yudo Consane, Gameton. Later Hugi Yaba Sone, Chilana maybe Lakin Zetin Hito Churiot. Pe Content Janji, Chulu Choson the Chibi, Pemi Zamzemba Yonzo, Dota Tito Jitumne, Pejin Neden, Zamni concert Chatuba Sone, Consanchokin Zentindo, Tujin Yakila Tene Shoaki Chayebe, Terigi Kokom Dijine, Pemi Yonji Tsaphide, Gambo Chola, Kadin Lame to Che Hyo. Consancho Gondo Chudune, Godo Gotula Pepe Tinri, Tendo Shedan, Shada Kawa Conjembi Tensi Nyanta with Tigoso Kongal Chesichi, Kadin Lame Shon de Longo Dindu Tenga Shibon Corvi, Tiden Chebar Tendo, London Missy Consancho Godo Gotula Pepe Kui Content, Shanzilor Sunti Huyim Barar, Ronja Pemin Namji, Konyichi Kalop Londento, Kadinam Jesu Tenji, Pem Miriji Chopsitan. Region Nam, Mignon Combelton, Yamba Surgi Yon, Hasamton, Nito Tito Dine, Peden Denta Masal Para, Tesitu Petensi Jingangur Cheyeji, Jawa Jibin Chutinton, Jayu Kotse Tembi Hyaden, Jayu Tugon Rubi Hyamdeso Yon Shagubi, Bukin Nambo Hujuin. Tabar Peto Pemi Joshua Nonkin, Jagar Yumoniji, Ariton, Europe so, Zomni Yudu Consan, Pedena, Joshua Nonkin, Yola Tuje Chehujuin. Tade Shinoro Consa Shangan Chambucho, Kutse Hyobe Kaljar Tenji, Zentin Jebaton, Lopin Tuji Gongan on Dujin, Peden Denta Sadi, Gijin Yamdonji shipping Niman John and Newton Chai, Mendi Hujuche, Pemi Moshindil, Henzo, the Ramne Hindil, Shilonieto Negatangan, Dawa Juji Bisechudilla, Tuchena.
Kontujena Tejela Lopsur Timonki, Kadin Jedin, Saint Tojonki, Tozone, Motor Sonshen Nankutan, Tozone, Kadin Jedinki, Saint Tebu Shugu.
May I invite the President of the Gratitude Event Organizing Committee, former member of the Tibetan Parliament in exile, Mr. Tashin Amgyal, to make introductory remarks and offer the gratitude memento to His Holiness.
Country Ravel Kovi Shingamsu, Pentan Dewa Malin, Jovene, Cherry Siwa, Tenzi Jasui, Shabe, Site Padu, Tenjurich, Munsubetone, Laji Sishi Tsuji, Consil Lamen Nandi, Zamni Chidi, Tebun Chembo, Pema Yunjin, Dichi Jamne, Turab Nichi, Petumba, Chino Consa Jangun, Java Tamchi Chinchin, Seba Chembo Chola, Goson Kupa Chembo, Kuchata, Pemi Dinzuchi, Mansu Kawason, Zezo Namba, Kundu Nandan, Dir Dube, Tenyin Lauda Katan, Pejimi Jeji Losur, Jache Mimachela, Kushin Zazi, Samdi Tashi del Shuji. Terenge Nimondi Ne, Chitung Gujanga Chunga, Tamba, Chinda Chujibe, Tsejuduni, Chinor Consa Jango Chembo Cho, Ki, Peji Lunichi, Chelsea, Tungan Jeni, Milo Ruku, Dunju Tunga Kobe, Tusi Chebachi, Yimbata, Teyan Peshacho, Ne, Janaki, Pong Yu Chebata. Purge Chassin Zinjunta Jeban Zada, Achi Utuki, Nedana Chani Purge, Lade Mede, Yonchi, Soa Zeju, the Tabarte, Gondan Judulem, Pemejan, Purge, Lunichi Chusi Tungi, Dagir Shebe Nimute, Purge, Chunranang, Kechi, Tusichi Chaba, Tusichi Chayo, Tertin, Teringi Nimon Nidini, Pumi Yoni, Javekadin, Jendin, Sugar, Message, Kechi Nimushiki. Chino Consa Jangun Chembo Choki, Lunichi Chasichi Tungan Shed, Purge, Purja Ni, Shintun, Dinja Yunta La, Guyanchi, Gonshe, Nang Yunayang, Jana Mabu Shongi, Tele Dote, Purnan Zada, Tatsuchi, Chego Shucher Tangerten, Chudon Gujangachu, Naguchinda Sumbe, Se Junior, Pumi Rawa Gelan Chemo Chesing, Purge Laza, Jessa Lase Nam, Jamaki, Chetan, Nirishin, Zada, Chir Tangerten, Laden to Mutu Shujut. Tungan Sudar Teni, Jagar to Chu, Jagar Chos, Niyo to Chujuchan, Jagar to Senjula, Penjor Nanje, Mombochog, Shageso, Permitison, Gashi, Jigju Nitu, Jola Namla, Tej, Tese Sotenta, Tedagi, Nyamdun Joe, Putu Nation, so Sheyan Logion to Sheyan Logion, Tuden La Sijon Nonju, Resu Macheve, Tatsuan Nala, Chuchu, Lonichi, Tunjin Jo. Tunjin Georgia, Pernagan, Zada Netan, Jeji Shudu Nanjiso, Tujin Dunlan, Zadaki, Chalen, Nangoba, Manda Choyo Nayan, Senjo Nanjobe, Putu National, Nadinki, Shenyan Lojon Tuju, Tebu, Gechan, Kengan Chishu, La Sede, Chudunguja, Tujitamba, Dawson, Sonye, Masuri, Loda Tango, Sanju Nanshi, Ten Zenjunta, Lotu, Segu, Neme Sochi, Dondo Yonsu Jino Consa Jangun Chembo Choki, Soze Nawa Mase, Putu Sanjo, Tanse Pavata, Daram Sala Susoto, Tugu Rimjur Chua Sochi, Loda Tango Tsuyu, Sagan Chungorten, Tata Masure, Tenlo Yebe, Sagangi, Chechi, Sanyunane, Loda Jache Tangshin, Rinshin, Senlatan, Dajilin, Dalao Jesu, Putu Kesangi, Loda Sunjun Zeba, Mase. Loda Tedaki, Mundun, Dundun, Yonsu, Consachoki, Kuga, Yisani, Soze Nawa So Gadi, Jane, Upulon, Zinjung, Zinso, Majung Kong, Pushungi, Loda Shisanzu, Gadin Chan, Consachoki, Sirin, Nerula, Pubar, Ram Miri, Gay, Tan Rinike, Los Yube, Putusor, Loda Sunzu Gube, Buku Shubashin, Silun Neru Nejan, Tukur Cheshichi, Upulon, Zinso, Sunzu Nane, Tiekong, Sanju Sembe, Tenja Labda, Shin Zinjungda, Jesu Tenja Labda, Kane, Sanju Nane, Putu, Tusur Mangor, Nadinki, Shenyong, Lojongki, Kokonan, Puji Datu Rinne, Tan, Chunjung Jerab, So, Pui Nang, Lopti, Chetube, Lopte, Sodi, Nangueba, Lana Mebe, Tujichi, Lote Zodi, Somchung, Sunzu Zechi, Teda Lote Chengen, Tindu Tantumbe, Gegen Sojong, Gegen Ujung, Naje, Sunzu Zena. Captain Permit Senjo, Soden Lamso Yembatan, Pama, So, Nienda, Lamso Jogovaten, then Togo Chungjung Mango, Dameta, Lunienta, Teraki, Lubu Tuden Lang, Gangen Tenya Latin, Juno Consa Jangun Chembo Cho, Ki, 투구 지바솔 따도 지동구자 두주 탐발로 다른 살라 별초 친대 운전난에 꾸이제모 치린 도마라서 진종 제급에 깔로 강아 낭신 대제수 꾸이종모 제전 빼말라네 통긴시에 급에 강아나 지동구자 두주 되니로 마수리 부친 산주지 태른 린친 도마라서 gengur lenggobe kanga nangwa mase puchimchi ngundun dondon chasan kuge yesani soje nangwe kadin socha jaga lojo soso pumi shiga rimsu chungwa shin shicha chame nang chugu dan pama ni jangta rimbo ne mugobe gongshe nang ne pumi dudu sane chamar nang chame nang nilo sanju nang ne kapshi la yabe nusung nang zenjo pumi lokda jeju charang yobe nang putu tiso mangbor nadinki shenyung 로경 나네 전조 범위 지소나 자자 제 이게 들로 투바 제신 나와 제 보여주 로진나 탱당고 총원이 진도 공사 장관 정부 쪽이 가딘 약지 자라나 요 땡이 로다 카게나 신용 로종 뜨조라 진도 공사 장관 정부 쪽이 전대 투구 체세 나네 땡이 로다 카라 야네 양도 시고 추지 나와 마세 loksen nam pege nang lokti chetab kor shiri chojen rimbar kalo lamten nang wa shen yun si ju ten la pabe gongdun shen ngundo ne shirin parme pa chenri tang angzi chizo chenri che pui nang lokti sadi tang lokti che latar gonzu nang ne pege ji geyi ge nechi kontor tongju dungde lakchen chung yoba ne gongsa janggo chenpo choki kadi nyakji yin 도나 진노 공사 장관 전부 쪽에 나딘기 신용 대배 로투 제신 나we 가딘 라테네 대배 로투주 라게ren 범미 초 전조 나데 내고 존나 보여준긴 전종다 신용다 리숑게 때네 소 미라 조와송나 대다 준신 제투케 제신 나요 하바 다다고 버니 파마변에 소 가야 메버 조레 냠타 자타 다주 자타 망고 랑기 파마다부 시종 가딘 짠네 배송의 시주 동계실라 소종 남원이 공사 초기 시종기 가딘레 좋아인 인증 지동부자 두주라다나 범미전조의 파마소 랑기 초된 람수 유가 슈솔랑에 투구 자와른 보질 푸와 인셰 로컬 공세가 투대 삼례 투구 소종기 겐굴라 로인 때니 제목의 내가 종 여반에 다소 대령 무슨 자와당 무슨 자마토베 땡년 로다 카다 버침이 젠네 템베 로투 티타 망보 신용 로종기 고각당 루부 차롱당 시린당 토름 로종기 고각 차산 톱네 전조 숑기 시시와다 지게를 내든 소란 잠린낭 군당 뽕반 단양 제투베 종원이 진노 공사 장군 첨보 초기 투제다 가딘 야기 임버때 달람 자가르다 배유 니진낭 자가르다 배유 루 제진낭여 땡년 로다 카다 버침이지 로스 진데네 자외 간데 제네 슈고 매도 총야 라제스 버 간제바 남 파차 처나 빼면 뉘신 쳔베 빼면 다음에 땡 차이 여반니 진노 공사 장군 첨부 초기 대배 멜로 든지 등아린 범민남 예조 연준 나외 가딘 쳔바타 대땡 대바 마메 여반니 버투 티타게와 나딘게 신연자와 쳔바디 야외 가딘 진된 쳔치 급의 표징 버투소 신연 로종토 자갈 우세 숑니제 진노 공사 장군 첨부 초라 우오 본대 슈베 가딘 진된 쳔제 생다시 무주 샤중 시리 갈른 샤중도 시리 갈른 림준당 롭지 게겐 파차 마차 마체 개바 제 대순 남지 라산당 르동게 로투 트소 몽보 장중당 신연 로종 나와 제지 가딘라 고갑디르 젠된 슈주당 하바르 범미초 강에 체외 투수 시연 로종토 미센제 예진 군들리 회제 젠세 고이제모 체린 도마 체린 지메 손전 온보 체린 린신 도마 제지 전조 범미 로다카기 마신 주든 라 공에 체세 나올 때 다들 전조나 시연 로종 라 dunde sensu 템바 총와 문전당 미세 젠된 슈주니 달람제 간데 제된 저고데 자가르당 배유 루솜지 저 자카카 종안네 로술 나자 두자 무스 자여제 인신 슈주당 달람 무스 자 투메나함 내름딘 잠린 강사 네베 로술 용지 튼주 라텐네 가덴 젠덴제 렌지디 레림디 종의 제송 람롱덴바 종어 창마 소천경원의 투치의 수준이 다들 진화 공사 장군 전부 초기 대배 멜로든지 등아리 버티시 미리지 튼도 가덴 장버 젠데타 젠도 제다 제다도 버강제바 남지 튼도 고체 개배 파도 템버 쇼바타 투지 세근 타다 런주 돈네 버든 된다 뉴도 세베 면든 수주 투체
कति जेटे सिंगटु की दी इम्बैना कांजे सिंगिल हाके पाचो छाना पेमे कुई क्योपा संखि मिक्यापे खावे जोसु जोते जेसु जुएकी मिलांबा योबने केजो कुटे ट्रिफिबा छेपुचोकी कुजे रिपोर्ट पेबा योतो चोला जितर माई फुला जेबशिन तुजे क्यांबे कति चिता हाउटे तु पेटु नमला नाते शेयुंगी कोकप जेदे 탑게 토제 소경기 제달 마르메 멤버세버신 시제 내라 남제기 셰럽 셀버 체메기 시바장 바젤로 고숨 규바 쳔부 까티 제데 슈버 쳔기도 now Tijela Lopsur Tumone Chetik Shube Gadi Jedenki Doyang Nimbil Shugu.
May I invite the alumni of the Tibetan schools to offer the exclusively composed gratitude song.
tuchi na DJ la kundren zo chek chi tun gegap ki shungsa ba cham ko Eliska Zigova chone sungshe nangyu.
May I invite our chief guest, Dr. Eliska Zigova, the ambassador of the Czech Republic to India, to deliver her remarks.
Your Holiness, Honorable Sityo, Honorable Ministers of CTA, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. It's my great honor to be with you today on this very special occasion and day of the celebrating 75th year of His Holiness, the Great 14th Dalai Lama, assumption of spiritual and temporal leadership of Tibetan nation and of the all Buddhist faith. Before I will start, I would like to little bit consider about what is it, in fact, leadership, and what does it mean for us human beings. I believe you all will agree with me that we people need a good and real powerful good leadership. Even it is a family when parents are taking care of children and children under good leadership, loving and caring parents are thriving and prospering. Or it is school, a class, where students under the guidance of a good teachers can study and can again prosperous and learn a lot. Or even it's a nation or state. Even more important to have good, wise, and well leadership to lead the nation, to lead the state. If we don't have this, if we don't have spiritual and also, let's say, political or parental or schooling leadership, we can go on the different, not always good path, and somehow we can see this in our world today, when the leadership in some places, in some corners of the world, is failing. So it is even more important for us to be here today to celebrate such an extraordinary example, such an extraordinary spiritual and also temporal leadership of His Holiness, the Great 14th Dalai Lama. I was very touched by thanks which were given, the gratitude of all alumni. And I was thinking about the young Dalai Lama, 15 years old, in 1950, when he was taking responsibility for the nation, for his people, for such a difficult circumstances those times. And only 9 years later, he crossed the border with India in exile, with 1,000 people following him, running away or leaving from the communist China invasion. And all these children, all these small souls who were following him were left, should be left behind or could be left behind, but no, this young man, only 19, 22 old, leader, spiritual and temporal leader of Tibetan people, started immediately in 1960 to found the schools, the homes for children, and now today we see the alumni of all the schools, and we see also the young students, the young children who are still studying in those schools. It's really, really amazing. I was really lucky to visit it April this year, the Tibetan Home Foundation School in Missouri. And believe me, I was in AIF seeing children, students, not only were they very well educated, they were very well taken care of, but all of them speak fluent Tibetan, this is a third generation. It's really amazing. So I believe very much for the future of Tibetan nation, and I really pray for long life of the leader, of our spiritual leader, and let me say our, because it's not only yours, dear Tibetans, it's all over the world. Let me close my remark about one other very important event for me, like a Czech ambassador and for Czech nation, because 17th of November is also a very important day for Czech people. 17 November 1989, in Czechoslovakia, Velvet Revolution put down the communist regime after 40 years. So freedom came in very peaceful revolution. It is why it's called Velvet. And our leader, President Václav Havel, who was in those times kept in prison by communists, went out from the prison and he just straight to the presidential palace and he became the first Czechoslovak free president. And our President Václav Havel invited His Holiness because he felt that this leader is very important for his leadership. So these two leaders, Václav Havel, the president, political leadership, and 14th Dalai Lama, His Holiness, are our very important connection between Tibet and Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic. I hope very much in peace, I hope very much in freedom and prosperous all over being, life, souls, and all our earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. DJ la Pyogi Logu Jobatante gave Zeba Korlengwashe, Chiti Leakune, Patun Shubi, Chakti Bringi, Kundun So Chone Unjenangu.
We request Ambassador Zigova to launch a book on Tibet's history and the legacy of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. The book is in Tibetan language, written by Lobsang Chimba Nampel Tsang and published by the Department of Information and International Relations, Central Tibetan Administration.
Chaktep di yimbena pende kande podan yikzang ki tungje Nampel Tsang Losang Jimbala ki jaksom nawashik dedu. Tuchina, DJ la permit Dixuki, Yu Kodo Kodik Sokjunki Zozo, Gadong Chuga Dangi, Tsege Lane, Tuji Chishu Sungshe Nangu.
I request Tegel Chugetani, Kashak Secretary, and the Chairman of the Central Kodun Organizing Committee, Central Tibetan Administration, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Tiringi 제국의 투지치 슈 레림년산 슈야라 하다 제베 좋아 용기 겸내 직대시대 대변치 랑자 강제반 남기 나남베베 우지 진호 공사 겸근 개회원부 탐제 긴지시고 진보초 디링기 제국의 초근도 샵수 까진 신앙 진기 남나 제발 그베 소주 담아 인가 송디 후지 초중당 제국 군주 민마 용기 첩슈디 까진 하나도 체체체 슈本地基督操作学堂，本地使用人年内，加入松懈难瓦突击起数据堂，提醒平民地主的在座来多堂，历史难把，其他的工作难把长嘛，在我念书难瓦突击起数据。历史操完那个这个的，随着这些堂那些，全球难瓦的突击起数据堂，他把都。平民地主的重庆南北最来自南北在我的科技需求全球那我的土地区需求，在我的配备个三个南北区提升个在我个咱们能解决用为日段数据有提升个在我操作硬数图备个切，我是科技健康时间，科技促进个促进这边聪明南北堂，提提车辆能给长马里亚土地区需求一。On this auspicious occasion of celebrating the 75th anniversary of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama's assumption of spiritual and temporal leadership of Tibet, it is my profound honor and joy to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee. First and foremost, our deepest gratitude goes to His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama. Your Holiness, we are profoundly blessed by your gracious presence today and by the boundless compassion, guidance, and wisdom you continue to offer to the Tibetan people and to all humanity. Your blessings have made this celebration truly meaningful, and we offer our heartfelt thanks. We extend our sincere appreciation to our chief guest, Her Excellency Dr. Eliska Zigova, Ambassador of the Czech Republic to India, for honoring us with your presence and your inspiring and encouraging speech. Your support for His Holiness' lifelong vision and for our community is deeply valued. Our heartfelt thanks also goes to the Honorable Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament in exile and Honorable Sichung of the Central Tibetan Administration. Your thoughtful and uplifting speeches have strengthened our spirit, unity, and dedication as we reflect on this historic milestone of Tibetan leadership. We also extend warm gratitude to all the distinguished guests and dignitaries of the CTA for attending this program. Your presence adds honor and significance to today's celebration. A special thank you goes to the CTA staff led by the respective secretaries for your tireless coordination, administrative support, and commitment in ensuring the smooth execution of today's event. Your dedication is deeply appreciated. We also express heartfelt appreciation to the alumni of Tibetan schools in India, Nepal, and Bhutan for your offerings of traditional sweet rice, butter tea, and sweets. Your contribution has enriched today's celebration with warmth, culture, and devotion. Our sincere thanks also goes to the media personnel who have worked diligently to cover and document this important occasion. Your efforts help us share this meaningful day with communities near and far. Finally, we extend our deepest gratitude to the committee members and all those working quietly behind the scenes. Your hard work, commitment, and teamwork are the foundation upon which this successful celebration stands. To everyone gathered here, thank you for your presence, your support, and your prayer. With profound respect and gratitude, thank you all. Tashidile.
Samne, Taringi Shungde, Zego, Keke, and Dubai, Chino Hoskamkian Chimbucho, Sugar, gave a portala, Chipku, Drubijela, Naranzo, Shinatap, Mutine, Unzu Shugi, Linke Mutini Shurana Shui.
Remembering the boundless compassion and kindness of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama, and with fervent prayers for His Holiness's long and healthy life, we conclude the official gathering here, while the celebration will continue with more cultural programs. As His Holiness leaves for the residence, we request the audience to remain seated for the cultural performances that will follow. Thank you.
좀